If you're a married man and you wish you were getting more sex in your marriage, I'm going to tell you how to get it. All right, she's never in the mood to have sex anymore. Maybe she's just always making excuses. Maybe she's even explicitly told you, no more sex. Or she's made rules around how often she'll let you have it. And the entire thing is just complete bullshit because you've done everything right. You've worked hard to be a good earner. You don't cheat. You tell her she looks nice once in a while. You don't stay out all night with the boys. Maybe you got kids and you've been a good father. You know, you're a parenting partner as well. So you've busted your ass for her. And the unwritten rules say she should hold up her end of the deal and, put out once in a while. But, is that really all you want? I mean, it would be a start, but probably also you'd like to feel like she wanted you too. Maybe you'd like to feel appreciated. And while men don't talk about, emotions, maybe you even feel lonely. Because you're a man, you don't want to just lay down and quit, and you don't want to just settle for scraps. And you still believe that it's possible. And I know, for a lot of men, they don't even believe it's possible anymore. But either way, you want an action plan. And that's when things get seriously messed up because the internet has some action plans for you. And they are mostly fucking horrible advice. So you get some of these men's forums and brother, I guarantee you, your marriage will get worse. And they will ruin any chance of a happy relationship in your marriage or with any other future woman. And that's what motivated me to create this video today. I was clicking around YouTube, just messing around, and I saw a new video up from my pal, Steve Horseman. Steve's a good guy. He's a men's coach, and I clicked over to see what he was talking about. So it's a video about relationship boundaries and the rules that you put into place and the lines you won't cross as a man and things you will and won't put up with, and that kind of stuff. It's a good video. In the comments, what's up for the men is it's all about putting up with a no-sex marriage. So this one guy writes, now I'm going to read this. My wife doesn't really have friends or a social life at all, just that when she's home, she wants to watch her shows on Netflix and look at Facebook, no time for me. She complains the usual litany of issues that most women use regarding adversity to intimacy, tired, stress, menstruation, early work, headache, and if I request affection that she feels that I cannot reciprocate due to her rules, I am an ass for being selfish. Little to no connection at best, intimacy only 3 to 4 times a year, frustrated and ready to place embargoes on things I do to make her life easier. I feel out of breath and emotionally exasperated, and the end result after months of neglect is a quickie to shut me up. Followed by months of the same prior treatment. Lots more I could add. I try really hard to make myself available, yet she would rather watch reruns of The Office on Netflix than have anything physical or emotional engagement with me. So, this is harsh stuff, I know. But then, here's the advice that he gets from like a dozen guys who leave comments below this. Sorry to hear, you're not alone. Believe me, yeah, it's painful. They're not going to change. So eventually you have to make a decision to stay and live with the pain or eventually start working towards starting a new life elsewhere. Exactly the same for me, bro. What a waste of life. Best thing is to leave her and not cheat. Just be alone, kind of like detox. Move on. Life is too short for this power crap she's playing. Same, bro. I feel your pain. I experienced the same treatment from my wife. I left 2 months ago and I'm glad I did. I was so miserable. I've never been so miserable in my life. 3 to 4 times a year, that often. Damn, quit bitching. Marriage is over. Women will learn that they have lost the sexual revolution. Doesn't sound like it's women that have lost, right? Based on these guys' comments, I don't know who lost the sexual revolution, but probably not the women. So, maybe these guys are right. This guy's situation is extreme, and maybe the best thing for this guy is to move on. But the thing that makes all this advice so shitty is that it starts with the same weak-minded premise, which is that this guy's the victim. So first of all, he's not the victim. It takes an agreement between 2 people to have sex or not to have sex. The agreement of one person, of course, is something we call rape. And it's not like these commenters invented the idea that he could leave. That's obvious, right? He's made a choice to stay, and he's not a victim. Relationships, even good relationships, are very complex. And I can promise you, and it's true, that if I asked his wife about their marriage, she would have a completely different story about what it is that went wrong. In fact, I bet if she wrote her version of the story of the marriage, a dozen women would comment on that YouTube video, making out like she's the victim and she should leave this asshole. And no, I don't think she's the victim either. That's not my point at all. When people have a shitty marriage, it sucks for both of them. And just so that we're clear, I know plenty of couples have marriages that are actually pretty good, except for the sexless part. So I mean, I get that it doesn't have to be this bad. So let's get back to this hard case. The second reason that it's bullshit advice to start out with the premise that he's a victim is that there is zero power in being the victim. She's horrible, she's mean, or worse, she's a feminist and she's being awful and it's not your fault. So what option does he have then? Stay and remain a victim, or leave and what? Because here's the important thing, man, and I hope every guy gets this. You leave your relationship as a victim, you'll still be a victim. You'll just be a victim in your next relationship or in your I can't get laid singlehood, because you never learn to be accountable for your own life and for the results you get. If you're going to be a victim, and your best move when your wife isn't in the mood is either, begging for it or saying, it's not fair, I work hard, I'm a good husband, you owe me sex. Because yeah, man, that is not going to put your woman in the mood. And you know this already. Now I'll repeat, this guy's situation sounds terrible. And I'm not saying that it's fixable, maybe it's not. I'm saying that he's fixable. And he needs fixing. And because all of these men, all of these commenters think he's the victim, because he himself thinks he's the victim, he got a victim's advice. Well, I don't think he's a victim. So here's what I would have said. There's something telling in what he wrote that none of the other men commented on. He begins by saying his wife has no friends and she watches Netflix and Facebook all day. And that's an important part of the story, because I know he's in pain and he's looking for his own solution, but none of what the commenters addressed is that his wife is obviously depressed, like clinically depressed, right? She's a mess. She's in pain herself. She's checked out. She's addicted to social media and screens, and she's allowed it to eat her life, not just her marriage. Why? There is something up here. And he might actually know what it is if somebody asked him. It's quite possible that she's depressed for the same reason that he is, because her marriage sucks, because her husband stopped paying attention to what she needed, because her husband doesn't even know who she is anymore. She might be just as depressed as he is, in fact, over the fact that they're not having sex. Maybe that is depressed. Maybe she wishes they were, but she stopped having sex with him for reasons that he's ignoring. And look, maybe this has nothing to do with him at all, but he should be examining why his wife is depressed, because clearly she is. He might find out something that he really does not want to know. Like, she's depressed because her husband wants to fuck her even though she doesn't want to be fucked. And that is depressing. In other words, she feels like the man that she married is more interested in getting laid than he is in connecting, in helping her explore her loneliness, her feelings of sadness. Obviously, he's completely disconnected from her, obviously. It's not just a lack of sex that he's describing. She's avoiding him completely. And he's not asking why. None of these men are asking why. They're just, women are evil. They're just saying, poor me, I'm the victim, and all the men watching YouTube agree with him. And maybe they're right. But also, maybe he'd get different results if he asked a different question. Maybe it's not, how do I get her to spread her legs for me? Maybe it's, what happened to our intimacy and trust? Maybe if he took an interest in her and what her experience of the marriage is, without defensiveness, but really being open to the idea that maybe he's not just a victim, maybe he's done some shit. Maybe it's more complex. Maybe he's actually doing something that's part of the problem. Maybe. What if he engaged her in trying to re-find why they fell in love in the first place? Openly, with curiosity, with courage, without defensiveness, with a willingness to fail. Because this ain't magic, He could fail, or maybe it's too late. And of course, maybe he is the victim of hard luck, that his wife fell into a depression, a mental illness, and has lost interest in doing what alive people do. And that sucks for her. And if you can't enroll her in an open and courageous exploration of what, where, and when it all went wrong, then he should explain to her that he'll be getting his sexual and emotional needs met elsewhere, But that it's not his first choice to do so, that he wants to make it work. On the other hand, if he can enroll her in the idea that he really does want to know her, see her, and learn to make her feel feminine and alive, that he really is interested in that, then he'll have all the sex he wants. And the same is true for every one of those sad men that commented. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. You are not the victim of this situation. And I actually have a program called Passion and Attraction that lasts. And yeah, I'll link to it here in the description below, but it's not what I'm recommending that you do here. I mean, I don't know what your situation is. Maybe that's exactly what you need. But as I read those comments and I recognize that there is something deeper, something broken in the male psyche, something broken by our messed up culture, by marketing messages, by porn, by our clueless buddies, by social media, the power switch is turned off in these men. Their masculine power is off. That's why they don't know how to make a woman feel feminine. Just leave her, bro. And that's why I put together something to help flip that switch back on. And if you've watched this far, you might need it. And it'll change your world faster and better than you thought possible. And yeah, I will link to it here. But I can't do it for you. You got to click and go over there, and you got to do it for yourself. So it's your move, brother.